So he'd come in and say, "Hey, here's your taters, and by the way."
Okay. They were, for example, they were not allowed to have been eggs or things like that. No eggs, never.
Was there a reason for that? Just because
No
they were
apples, no,
because they had protein.
cabbage, yes.
I see. So it was basic carbohydrates, and that
That's
was
it.
what you lived on.
That's it. And so these people brought in certain foods, but not foods that would make us healthy or
Strong and
anything
healthy.
like that.
It was
right.
just food that would keep you breathing.
Right. And they picked up bones, leftover things that were from the kitchen.
Sure.
You know, and they came like once or twice a week, not every day.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they had little notes or things like that that they handed to my mother or to another friend of hers. There were, I think there was like 7 or 8 people together that went through that, you know.
So it was a little network kind of
Yeah.
a thing where you guys would be able to get information from the outside world. And
Right.
so life had become very oppressive
Right.
in your village. You
Now
trusted.
this was in Theresienstadt.
Yeah, that was later. But even in your village, life had become fairly oppressive for you. I would assume.
I would say we were the only one that were not in a ghetto.
Yeah, and that was because of your father's status.
That's exactly.
But you were able to go see your parents.
Oh yeah, I mean we were all together.
You were allowed to go. And,
My parents stayed with me in the same
I'm
apartment.
sorry, your grandparents. I apologize.
Grandparents, yes.
So eventually, apparently, the Germans grew tired of you.
We went first to Theresienstadt from the whole family.
Okay, so let's talk about
And
that a
they
little bit.
they stayed behind
In the ghetto.
in the ghetto in the meantime.
So they came to you finally. I mean, I guess
Finally, a year and a half or so later, they came, and my cousins came, and my uncle, and they were sent further. My uncles and my cousins, they never returned.
Okay.
They were my age. He went to school with me, and my older cousin, what a darling. Gideon was his name.
Gideon.
Gideon. And the other was Nehemiah's Hemi. They
Hemi?
called Hemi. They
Okay.
called him. And Hemi went to school with me, and talking about being intelligent and knowledgeable and everything. Gideon was an exceptional person. He was working on glasses.
Oh, mercy.
He was in high school, and on the side he worked, and the seashells that he collected and made all kind of little brochures and everything.
Wow. So he was
Talented, very, very talented,
So
and very sweet, very sweet.
So now we come to the day when apparently the German soldiers no longer need your father's services for whatever reason. It's time for you to go.
Right.
Somebody wants your apartment.
And at that point, we were put into a concentration camp.
Now what happened? They came.
We got a note.
Did you see that coming? Did
Oh, absolutely.
So you knew this day was inevitable.
Yeah, but I didn't know where we're going to find out.
Sure. So
because one time they went to different place, you know.
Were you aware of all the concentration camps
No,
at that point in time?
No, only one in Poland, and we used to send packages to them. If they ever arrived, I don't know.
Well, what was in the packages?
2 pounds. 2 kilos, not more. They, I could send rice and things that for cooking, you know.
Was that Auschwitz or Birkenau? Or?
No. It was a little village where they worked.
Okay.
They were permitted to work.
You were aware of the work camps.
Of this particular
that
one.
particular work camp, and you knew that they were gathering Jews up and sending
And
them.
we used to make exactly 2 kilos our shoeboxes.
Oh.
That was, we mailed shoe boxes.
And you knew exactly how much went in a shoebox, and that
That's
was
exactly it.
but you have no idea if those ever got to where they were supposed to get to.
Once in a while, we got a pre-printed card, because they never gave you any names of addresses where that is or something.
Sure.
And you send it to this and this address, and they will deliver it, It's not where there was an address that you could follow.
I see. So, what were you thinking when you were doing this? What were you thinking you were doing? I mean, what was the feeling?
Helping people.
And who did you think you were helping? Were they prisoners? Were they?
Yeah, in a way.
Okay, so you were, you was it you and your family, or was it a big group effort that would get together?
Me and my family.
And you would put these shoe boxes together?
We got little notes, and we did it because, who knows, maybe someday we are going to be in it, but we never got to that point.
Sure.
Because we got right into the Auschwitz, and
So
they didn't have that.
Your father went first.
Yeah.
And how long before you went did your father go?
Approximately a year. I don't know that date.
So about a year after,
I can look
year
it
and
up.
a half. That's okay. A year and a half after this all started, they came and said your father was. They shipped him off, and you thought he went to this labor camp, or?
Yes, I thought that he went to a labor camp. That's what we saw because he signed the paper.
And now what paper?
The Germans had a paper that you will be going to this and this working camp. Well, instead, they wound up in Auschwitz.
Now tell me about that. Tell me about.
Let me tell you this. Being in the working camp, they had made these working camps for men only, and then they will send them back again.
That was the theory, or the myth.
Theory. In reality, no,
Sure.
Never.
Sure. So when they came and said, was it like did they say, okay, for the next 2 years we're going to ship you to this work camp, and then you can come back after your service is done?
For 1 year.
1 year. Yeah. So they came to him and said, it's your time. It's your time.
And we went before that time.
And you went before that year had come up.
That's right.
So you had no idea.
No.
So
no.
you.
And then when we were in Auschwitz, a man who remembered my daddy told me that my daddy was there but left.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't know where or what. And he did go to Gleiwitz, which is also a concentration camp. But then I tell you the different story from Gleiwitz. And we went in the meantime to Erdogan. So Dad escaped with 3 other people.
Oh.
And how they did it, as the concentration camp had to be emptied because the Russians already came closer. So on one side you have the Germans, and you have no man's land, and then comes the Russians.
And what was in no man's land?
No man's land, this is, where the Germans are shooting, and the Russians shoot back.
Oh, okay, so.
And there is a space in between that they don't have.
So it's kind of like the line, the battle line,
right,
so to speak. Okay.
And there's in between where they have understanding of each other that they cannot shoot more.
Okay.
That the line goes.
Sure.
So finally, they came into Theresienstadt, into the building that I was in, and I was liberated by the Russians, which, thank God, I was glad they came, but there were problems.